Howdy, Connection Group leaders. Happy Thursday. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm in here in the usher's closet with the safe. It felt like an appropriate place to have our conversation today. Fun fact, I have a key to just about everything in the church. Part of that's because I keep weird hours and I can get up here really easily because I also live super close to the church. But one of the things I don't have a key to, and I'm glad, is that thing right there. And I think there's 2 other safes in the building. I don't want keys to those either. It's not because I'm an untrustworthy person. We've got some really strict protocols in how we deal with money. And the reason why we have those rules and guards in place is because greed is real. And so I love that we're talking about this Sunday. So dive into this. This is good, practical stuff. Number 1, youth leaders, but really everybody, youth leaders, in your packet, there's a game called the Greed Game. I'd love if you play that game. I think it's practical, it'll be funny, but it's helpful. Adult and children's leaders, if you don't have the Greed Game in your packets, text me, and I would love to share that with you. I think it plays to everybody's audience. It could be a little fun exercise and sets the lesson up really, really well. Also, let me say, don't skip verses 1 and 2. The kind of slavery that's being described in the Bible is honestly, it's the relationship between employee and employer. Well, most of us have jobs, and we're supposed to be respectful and kind and gracious and hardworking to those, if you want to call them slave drivers, but to those who are over us and help providing for us, right? And so that's a little bit of what's going on. That's a real big simplification of a bigger issue there. But the point is, don't skip verses 1 and 2. I think that matters there. How we operate in our jobs very much can set us up for greed or otherwise. Now, let's dive into the text. The big idea that I think is worth saying 100 times on Sunday morning is this: money in and of itself is not evil. Money is a tool and a gift. Truly, it's a tool and a gift. The gift is from God himself. And the tool is the dynamic of what money enables us to do. Number 1, maybe the most important thing we do with our money is how we provide for our families. And the reason why I put it that way, if you look in chapter 5, one of the things it says explicitly is men, a man who does not provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. Now that's just kind of a sucker punch, but it's a really helpful statement. It's our job to provide for our family. Now, some of us have been given lots of resources so we can not only provide for our family, but also provide for other people. Chapter 5 also talks about how widows are supposed to be cared for. The reason why this safe exists in this building is because part of what we do with our excess resources, we give to the church. And then as a church family, we use those resources to advance the kingdom of God in a number of ways. This is why God gives us gifts and talents and finances. It's a tool for us to use to provide for our family and to advance the kingdom of God. And here's the thing, when we keep that mindset, all of a sudden being greedy suddenly becomes a lot harder to do. Let me put it another way. Gratitude is a great guard against greed. It's really, really hard for me to get greedy when I remember constantly Jesus is the one who has gifted me with these resources, and it's gifted me with the talents that I have in order to get the job that I use to get those resources. All those things come from the Lord, and when I remain constantly grateful, greed, it's not that it's impossible, but greed suddenly seems to go out of the equation. And by the way, providing for your family and for advancing the kingdom of God, those aren't mutually exclusive things. Those really can happen simultaneously. And they should be happening simultaneously. Again, maybe your ability to give is small compared to others, but all of us are chipping in and advancing the kingdom. So here's the diagnostic question that I think is worth asking your class and kicking this around. Are you using your talents and your resources? And for those of us teaching kids and students, there may not be a lot of resources there. They don't have money in of themselves, a lot of them, but they do have talents. Are you using your talents and your resources to make yourself famous or to make Jesus famous? Again, they don't have to be exclusive. You can do both, but our ultimate goal and heart's desire should be, Lord, I want to make you famous, and I want to advance your kingdom more than my own. And if you advance my kingdom more, I'm so grateful for that, and I'm going to continue to share that. I'm not just interested in developing a giant pile of money for myself so that everybody thinks I'm awesome and that I'm nice and comfortable. If that's your goal in life, like some of you work, I say some of you, best of my knowledge, all of you work really, really hard, and many of you I know for a fact are incredibly good at your jobs, and you're well compensated for that, and that's a beautiful thing. That's not evil. Money's not evil, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil, right? But if your goal in life is just to get a giant pile of cash so you could be comfortable and do whatever you want, you're missing the point. And our people are missing the point if that's the way they think. If God gives us giant piles of cash, yes, that's a blessing and that's a beautiful thing. And yes, you can have some fun, but it's so we can share it and advance the kingdom of God in beautiful ways. Money's a tool and a gift, and we ought to use it that way. Last thing is this, verse 11. It says it specifically for leaders, and this is why I'm bringing this to you, because you're leaders, you're helping us shepherd this church. I want to read this over you. For you, O man of God or woman of God, flee these things. Flee greed and the other stuff going on here. Instead, pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, gentleness. Fight the good fight of the faith. Here's the thing. The Bible sometimes feels like a giant book of don't do this, don't say that, don't collect that, don't think this way, right? And there are a lot of those, but there's also a whole lot of here's what you instead are supposed to be doing. And I love the word pursue. There's an active, literally like running, chasing after. Then it goes on to say fight the good fight. That's athletic language. That's boxing language specifically. This thing God's called us to do, it's hard, but it's worth it, and it requires work. Watch this, guys. If we would use the same work ethic, all of us, adults, teenagers, all of us, if we'd use the same work ethic towards our pursuit of the Lord that we use towards our hobbies or towards our jobs or our dreams or so on, man, that would change us dynamically, and that would change our church incredibly, and the kingdom of God would be advanced. So pursue those things with the same type of passion and commitment and discipline that we do at being good at the things that God has gifted us in. Guys, I love y'all. Can't wait to see you on Sunday. We'll talk to you later.